Welcome, Raider Nation. Let's dive into the heart of the action where the Las Vegas Raiders find themselves at a pivotal crossroads this NFL season. After a promising Week 1 victory, the Silver and Black have hit a rough patch, dropping the last two games and stirring up plenty of questions from fans, analysts, and insiders alike. What's going on with this team, and how are they planning to turn it around? The story centers around a critical piece of the puzzle: Jackson Powers Johnson, the starting offensive guard, and coach Pete Carroll's curious decision to sideline him even though he was healthy. This move has sparked debate and, perhaps, offers a fascinating peek behind the curtain at Raider strategy. Now, let's break it down. After their opening win that showed flashes of brilliance but was anything but a perfect effort, the Raiders stumbled against the Los Angeles Chargers in Week 2 and followed up with a tough loss to the Washington Commanders in Week 3. That's when it became clear something's off on offense. Jackson Powers Johnson, affectionately known as JPJ, is more than just a guard. He's a foundational player in protecting the quarterback and opening up running lanes. If you're wondering what exactly an offensive guard does, think of them as the unsung heroes in the trenches, battling defensive linemen every snap to keep the offense's engine running smoothly. When JPJ went down with injury, Alex Kappa stepped in. Kappa's a solid player with experience but hasn't quite restored the rhythm and power JPJ brought. Coach Pete Carroll's explanation was revealing. He admitted that the choice to keep JPJ out of the starting lineup against the Commanders was a short week and about maintaining continuity. In other words, the Raiders' coaching staff wanted to keep some momentum by sticking with Kappa just a little longer, rather than shaking up the lineup too quickly. It was a strategic gamble that, unfortunately, didn't pay off as the offense struggled mightily. Carroll's words, "We just decided for the continuity of coming out last week, we might be a little bit smoother. The competition goes on." That phrase, "competition goes on," embodies the Raider spirit perfectly. The Raiders have always been about hard work, resilience, and overcoming adversity. If you look back to some of the greatest Raider legends, from Marcus Allen's legendary rushing in the 80s to Howie Long's dominance on the defensive line, this team thrives when its players rise to challenges. And right now, they're hungry to get back to that form. The Raiders' offensive line woes in context. The offensive line is often the backbone of any NFL team, and for the Raiders, it's been a roller coaster ride this season. This offense was expected to be a key strength, especially with star quarterback Derek Carr slinging the ball to weapons like Davante Adams, one of the best receivers in the league. But without a solid offensive line, even the best quarterback can feel exposed. Carroll's concern is clear: we got to get off the football better and make more of the running game. What he means is this: the Raiders need to win the battle of controlling the line of scrimmage. When this happens, their running game thrives, which opens up the play-action passing game, where the quarterback fakes a handoff, drawing defenders in, and then throws deep to a receiver like Adams. Without that basic foundation, the offense becomes one-dimensional and predictable. Statistically, the Raiders' rushing yards per game have taken a noticeable hit since JPJ missed time. In Week 1, they averaged a respectable figure, but Weeks 2 and 3 saw a dip that correlates strongly with his absence. Meanwhile, their sack rate, how often Derek Carr is tackled behind the line, has climbed, putting extra pressure on the QB and disrupting timing routes. A look back at Raider history and offensive line legacy. To understand what this means to the Raiders, you have to know their proud but tumultuous history. Founded in 1960 in Oakland, California, the Raiders cultivated a bad boy image in the 70s and 80s, thanks to aggressive play and iconic players like Ken Stabler, Jack Tatum, and Marcus Allen. Their offensive lines have been fierce throughout history, giving rushers and quarterbacks protection that was the envy of the league. They've won 3 Super Bowls, 1976, 1980, 1983, their silver and black hearts blazing through seasons as one of the NFL's most feared teams. The move to Las Vegas in 2020 was a new chapter, building Allegiant Stadium into a fortress where Raider Nation fills the stands with passion and loyalty every game. That loyalty runs deep, especially through divisional matchups. The AFC West is no stranger to bruising battles with longtime rivals like the Kansas City Chiefs and Los Angeles Chargers. The Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes and the Chargers' Justin Herbert are both elite quarterbacks who love to exploit any weaknesses in an offensive line, so when the Raiders' front wall wobbles, those games become even tougher. Fictional insights from the Raiders' locker room. Imagine a brief locker room chat with Pete Carroll right after the Commanders game. "Well, you know, JPJ's energy is missed out there. But Alex is a pro," Carroll said with a nod. We've got faith in our guys. This league's about adaptation, not just sticking to one game plan. The key now is getting JPJ back on the field, healthy and confident. That lifts the whole unit. And how about JPJ himself reflecting on the absences? It's frustrating sitting on the sidelines, no doubt, he said. But I know my role is critical. I'm training hard, studying film. When I step back out there, I'm going to give this team everything I've got. From the fan perspective, Raider Nation remains electric and hopeful. At Allegiant Stadium, the energy never dims. Raider fans have witnessed ups and downs, withstanding decades of highs like the Charles Woodson days and lows alike. That loyalty fuels the team's drive to reclaim momentum. What's next for the Raiders? Looking ahead, the implications are crystal clear. The Raiders need JPJ back starting, and soon. His ability to stabilize the offensive line is paramount if they want to climb the AFC West standings and lock in a playoff spot. With only a handful of games left in the regular season, every snap counts. Coach Carroll's emphasis on building on it and developing hints at patience but also urgency. The Raiders have talent scattered all over the roster. Derek Carr's pinpoint accuracy, Adams' route-running artistry, Max Crosby's tenacity on defense, but you can't win games when the offensive line struggles. Draft-wise, the Raiders might also look to reinforce their trenches with upcoming picks. Historically, solidifying the trenches with young, hungry players has always been a focus, and it's what will keep the Raiders competitive in the AFC West for years to come. Raider trivia and fun facts to impress your friends. Did you know the Raiders' original owner, Al Davis, famously said, "Just win, baby"? That saying embodies the Raiders' relentless spirit. The Raiders have a unique connection to pop culture, from appearing in the movie The Longest Yard to having a persona that inspired characters in TV shows and beyond. The rivalry with the Kansas City Chiefs dates back decades and once produced one of the most thrilling games in NFL history. The 2018 Week 12 Thursday Night Shootout, remembered as one of the most explosive offenses in a single game. Marcus Allen, one of the Raiders' all-time great running backs, served as a civic ambassador for Las Vegas after the move, keeping the team's roots connected. Final thoughts. Call to action for Raider Nation. So, Raider fans, the road ahead is challenging but filled with promise. The team's heart is unmistakable, and the return of Jackson Powers Johnson could be the spark that lights the fire again in the trenches. Stay glued to your screens, rally behind the silver and black, and get ready for more hard-hitting, edge-of-your-seat football. Tune in next week as the Raiders aim to shake off the skid, defend their home turf at Allegiant Stadium, and remind the league why Raider Nation is one of the loudest and proudest fan bases in the NFL. Remember, no matter the struggles, it's always about resilience, passion, and fighting for every yard. Stay strong, Raiders. The best is yet to come.